So now let's move into tools for these times, in which we use 80s and 90s music as a tool to solve a psychological issue that we can find challenging in these modern times we are living in. Mm. And without, the idea is not to sound technical or not to remember technical concept, but to we can remember songs that remind us what to do whenever we feel trapped into certain patterns of thinking or feeling that makes us uh, feel worse. So tonight's topic connects very strongly with the discussion we've just had about modern life increasingly feeling cold, extractive, and overstimulating and emotionally exhausting, right? Because one psychological effect of constantly feeling exploited or overwhelmed is that people slowly become emotionally guarded. So, more cynical, more suspicious, more detached, more mentally defensive. And after enough years of this, because at the beginning it's not so noticeable, but after some years, some people begin protecting themselves emotionally so much that they accidentally disconnect from life itself. So, on tonight's first song representing this emotional state is Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes. And even the title already says a lot psychologically. Owner of a Lonely Heart. And there's another line in the song that really fits tonight's topic that says, say you don't want to chance it, you've been hurt so before. And psychologically, that is exactly what often happens after years of disappointment, stress, and emotional exhaustion. People begin emotionally retreating, not necessarily physically alone, but internally guarded. They stop trusting easily, they stop relaxing deeply, they stop feeling emotionally safe, and modern life reinforces this constantly with these hidden fees, these scams, following algorithms, with constant manipulation, with clickbaits, with outrage culture, with overwork, with constant stimulation from everywhere. And psychologically, living permanently alert slowly exhausts the nervous system. So, one dangerous thing about chronic cynicism is that eventually people stop expecting warmth from life at all. Not from people, from things, from life. And they start assuming everything is fake, that everybody is selfish, that nothing is genuine, that everything is manipulation. And yes, sometimes modern systems do encourage those feelings. But psychologically, living permanently inside that mindset slowly poisons emotional well being. So there's a very important distinction here. Being realistic is healthy, being aware is healthy, protecting yourself is healthy. But becoming emotionally closed permanently on a permanent basis is different. Because eventually the nervous system stops feeling safe enough to trust, to rest, to connect with other people, or enjoy simple things again. So let's have a look. What is the solution to this problem? So let's find another song that reminds us to the solution. Uh, and the song for the solution is "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips. This song feels emotionally warm almost immediately, right? Uh, and the key lyrics tonight is "Hold on for one more day." And another really uh, key line from the lyrics is things will go your way if you hold on for one more day. It sounds a little bit cliche, I know, from the pop lyrics 40 years ago, uh, but psychologically, the message here is not ignore reality. It's not saying pretend everything is perfect. It's not a naive type of positivity. The message is don't emotionally surrender completely to exhaustion and cynicism. Because one of the most important psychological skills today is learning how to protect your nervous system without emotionally shutting down entirely. So, tonight's practical psychological tool is selective emotional protection. And this may become one of the most important mental health skills of modern life. It means consciously reducing unnecessary emotional extraction from people, from the system, from everyone or everything. Not isolating yourself from reality completely, but creating healthier boundaries around attention, stress, stimulation, and the emotional overload that comes from outside. So sometimes this can be surprisingly simple. You can achieve that by reducing doom scrolling, by spending less time reading outrage comments, listening to calmer music sometime, like our wonderful recess vaporwave music, creating slower routines, going outside without headphones occasionally, talking to real people more, even just for a casual topic, or like it was in the past, just asking what the time is. When people used to look at uh, their watch in their hand, or reducing unnecessary digital noise whenever you detect it. And human beings were not psychologically designed for this way of functioning with constant alerts, constant comparison, constant stimulation, with constant outrage from social media, this constant bad news. The nervous system eventually becomes exhausted of all of this, and even more if all of this is coming at the same time. So this is one reason older music atmospheres feel emotionally comforting now. Not only because of nostalgia, but because many older songs allowed space, breathing room, emotion, and patience. And sometimes healing psychologically is not only about adding more information, but about reducing noise. So let's wrap up with this memory trick to how we can remember this technique easier using a song as a tool to remind us what to do whenever we fall into these situations. So instead of remembering complicated psychological terminology, remember these two songs. Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes as the warning sign, becoming emotionally closed through chronic stress and distrust. And then remember Hold On by Wilson Phillips as the reminder to protect your emotional energy without abandoning hope or emotional openness completely. It's okay to feel bad or to feel sad, or even if you're going through a depression right now. It's natural, of course, to react to something that happens from the outside at first. I'm talking here when this becomes chronic and becomes permanent. So one song represents emotional defense becoming isolation, right, as a result of getting permanent. And the other song represents emotional endurance without collapsing internally. So let me know in the chat or in the comment section, what's one thing you've done recently that genuinely helped your nervous system slow down a little? And sometimes very small changes create much bigger psychological relief than people expect. That's why I felt when I was feeling to start this project, that to share this new way of communicating psychological tips that work in your daily life, and how you can leverage what already exists around you, even in what already exists inside your own head, with like these memories of songs. You can remember songs. Maybe you cannot remember the complicated psychological concept, but you can remember a song. So you can remember two songs, and one song that helps you identify the problem, and one song that reminds you of the solution, what to do to escape that situation. And that is primary prevention, health prevention applied into nowadays life. So, because modern life does overwhelm people sometimes, that's real. But protecting your peace psychologically doesn't always require escaping the world completely. Sometimes it begins simply by slowing down, protecting your attention, choosing healthier atmospheres and people, and reconnecting with experiences that still feel emotionally human. And music can become one of those places. That's why you felt to explore this channel. Alright, so that was tonight's segment, Tools for These Times. And now we are moving into the editorial to close this live stream after our wonderful recess.